Newcastle have had plenty of time to prepare for this match. Liverpool not quite so much, but Roy Evans is at least able to name an unchanged side. They did leave Old Trafford on Sunday with injury worries about both Mark Wright and Neil Ruddock, but both were past fit this morning, so it is indeed the identical side to Sunday's semi-final lineup. Kevin Keegan kept Newcastle's plans under wraps until about an hour ago. Much speculation about change. He's not been short of advice from all quarters, but in the event, one alteration. Warren Barton, who was substituted after a below-par performance at Arsenal, loses the right-back spot to Steve Watson. Watson, the scorer of those winning goals in both this season's successes over Liverpool. Mike Reid refereed the match up at St James's Park in the Premiership in November, which Newcastle won by 2-1 against the run of play. So both camps agree that the Coca-Cola Cup tie here in November was justly settled. Newcastle deserved to win at Anfield that night. It's Liverpool who really have to win at Anfield here tonight, otherwise they'll need both Uniteds to falter over the next few weeks. Newcastle, and I think Kevin Keegan would be the first to admit it, need above all to avoid defeat. A win would do very nicely. It has been a long wait, 11 days for Newcastle to get back in action. The manager didn't mince his words at Highbury, but that defeat apart, Newcastle feel they've been playing well enough during this disappointing run of results. Just 4 points from the last 15 available. An early touch for Steve Watson. Comes off Ruddock. Scales having to provide just a little bit of depth there against Asprilla. Beardsley. And it's over to corner. Ahead of Scales.
You mentioned the lack of action in the last 11 days, but what a response they got from the manager got from them when they played West Ham, Martin. It was a blistering performance at St James's. They'll be looking for that type of performance again here tonight. It certainly looked another corner.
Wasn't the best piece of defending
that
Liverpool have ever put together from a set play. Newcastle, who conceded an early goal from a corner at Arsenal last time out.
Well, it dropped very low, and really the only thing it saved Liverpool was they had no one attacking the ball at the near post. Newcastle. It did look to cannon off a Liverpool player, but Mike Reid obviously didn't think so.
Scales. Just how much will the semi-final and the general sense of Liverpool euphoria have taken out of Roy Evans' men? The manager certainly has tried to instill the right sort of belief in his players, and they produce the classic start. Who's got it? You can guess it. It's Robbie Fowler inside 2 minutes, and Newcastle are behind to Liverpool's first attack.
And what an awful lot he owes to two people. Rob Jones' wonderful touch. This is a great sweeping pass, but watch Jones here. Lovely cushion ball. And then this is all about Collymore. Shrugs off a challenge. What a ball that is. But I have to say, Martin, it's a simple header, and it's pretty poor marking. Robbie Fowler just gets himself in an area. The marking is non-existent. And for someone like Robbie Fowler, well, this is bread and butter. This is practice ground stuff. It's just nod of the head, and his team are 1-up.
Well, we talked on Sunday about a fantastic record that he had against Aston Villa. It's not been so good against Newcastle. Just 1 in 6 prior to tonight. But in this vein of form, Fowler absolutely irresistible. But all credit to Stan Collymore. He's had a couple of quiet games for Liverpool recently. Substituted at Nottingham Forest and at Old Trafford on Sunday. But a brilliant piece of play from him on the left. He's made so many of Fowler's goals this season, and the latest one, well, it's a real dagger into the heart of Newcastle United.
This will test them. This is a real test, Martin.
Collymore. Past Beardsley. Fowler played it back against Beardsley.
Pity, if they kept it going the other way. McAteer was in acres on the right-hand side. The one thing Newcastle mustn't do is be reckless in the next 5 or 10 minutes and lose another.
Here's Rob Lee. Batty. Seymour in the centre. Albert. Watson holding it right back to give them an avenue into a wider position. Rob Jones trying to get to him quickly. Watson slipping and stumbling, and the ball eventually going out for a Liverpool throw. Quickly taken to Barnes. Ruddock. Now Asprilla. Barnes just got it back past his great friend Peter Beardsley, a great friend off the field, great enemy tonight. Ferdinand. That's a terrific effort and very calm handling. There was a bit of swerve latish on in that shot for David James to deal with.
But I think what we saw before that, Martin's a little cameo of what Newcastle have got to do. It was great pressure on Liverpool players in that last third. I think if they learned anything from Aston Villa, Kevin Keegan learned anything from Aston Villa at the weekend, that Villa's best spell in that game was when they really did pressurise Liverpool and make them play at pace in their own half. And I think we've seen already signs of that they're going to put pressure on. If the back three who are so comfortable with the ball, it's Ruddock, Scales and Wright, want to pass it, then they're going to be under an awful lot of pressure early, I think.
Collymore was a bit lucky. Fowler not enough on the pass to get him away. He was looking for a runner to the right who was McManaman. Howie. Well, we've talked all season long about Newcastle conceding goals to headers from the opposition. And another one tonight. Up on Tyneside, they've been saying over the past few days, well, Robbie Fowler didn't get a goal against us in the 2 matches in November. Surely he's due. Their worst fears realised within 2 minutes at Anfield tonight.
And that's what they've got to be careful with. The same thing doesn't happen to them that happened to Aston Villa when you and I were sat here not so long ago. 8 minutes into the game and Villa were basically out of it.
Ferdinand. The referee decided there was an infringement to be punished in the jump. It was a confident run and shot by Ferdinand, who was caught up in a general lethargy when Newcastle played their last match at Arsenal. But since then, of course, he's been voted the Players' Player of the Year, and he's played and scored for England. Howie, another member of Terry Venables' team last Wednesday night. Beresford, who might have joined Liverpool but was turned down on medical grounds, an ankle problem. That's a marvellous throw by James, Schmeichel-like to Collymore. Howie's the defender with a problem. Watson. Ginola. Mark Wright's gone across. That's a favoured move from Ginola to work in from the left onto his right foot. Well, only 7 minutes gone, and they're wrapped up in the tension of it all, coupled with the desolation of seeing the side adore the Toonami concede such an early goal here in such an important match. McManaman. Now Barnes.
Well, they're getting one part of the pressing right sometimes, Newcastle, Martin, but they're not all doing it as a unit at the moment.
Collymore. Batty almost leaving an imprint of McAteer on the soft turf around the centre circle. McAteer quickly back on his feet. Nicely done by Albert. Batty. Despite the results not being to Newcastle's liking, the Newcastle management have been very pleased with the form individually of the two newcomers, Batty and Asprilla.
Well, I know David Batty realises that the importance for Newcastle fans and the team to have actually gone on and winning the title. I just wonder if Faustina Asprilla realises the importance of the games he's playing in at this particular moment in time. Has that got through to him yet?
I think that desire up on Tyneside translates pretty easy. Kevin Keegan will hope it does. Asprilla has been back to Colombia for an international since he last played for Newcastle. Here he is, past Ruddock. Ferdinand turns and scores!
What skill from the Colombian. What brilliant ability. And that's why Kevin Keegan's invested in him. Looked to be going nowhere. Past Neil Ruddock, left him for dead. Watch this. Ruddock faces him up. Through the legs it goes. He's dead. He can't tackle him now. But this is a great finishing from Ferdinand. He's only got about half a yard to aim in. Whether Matt Wright will feel he didn't close him quick enough or close enough, but it's one touch and he pulls the trigger in. It's the pace in the shot that beats David James. Straight above him, but the pace is there. What a game we've got in store now.
Well, the two big hitters, if you like, have landed major blows inside the opening 10 minutes. Ferdinand replying after Fowler had opened the scoring for Liverpool. And the two players honoured by their fellow professionals recently as the player and the young player of the year, living up to their billing, as is the match. Ruddock with a free kick. No challenge on Cernicek.
You have to say it was a great response from Newcastle United to losing that goal in 2 minutes. Cleared their heads really quickly and responded brilliantly.
Did Asprilla answer your question then?
No one's ever doubted his ability.
Howie. Now McManaman. Newcastle press again.
This is good. This is what I was talking about, Martin, but that pressure. Now they've won the ball. Well, Beale's given it away, but they won the ball high up the pitch. And I think that's something that Villa showed teams that they might be able to do against Liverpool. It really does test your ability and your confidence in passing.
And of course it adds to the possibilities of Liverpool perhaps passing the ball around them and breaking themselves. Ginola's cross. There are plenty forward for Newcastle here. Asprilla well aware of Watson arriving down the right. And James in difficulties. Liverpool trying to pass it out of their own penalty area. Batty. That was a ball with a good exploratory look to it from Steve Watson from the right-hand side. Rob Lee was attacking it in the centre. Now it's Ginola down the Newcastle left. Jones. Redknapp and Barnes getting in each other's way, and that really again caused by the attitude and aggression of Newcastle in midfield. Mike Reid has...
Well, a little unlucky, you know, he's frustrated.
He stopped it for the foul off the
I think
ball.
He feels as if there was a free kick, but he made
the other way.
He made a lovely run, and the ball was played through to him beautifully. There it is again, great pressure.
From Ferdinand this time. Asprilla's got his concentration back, and Beardsley is there.
That was a lovely ball. Super ball from Beardsley. Can ask no more than to get a ball faced across the 6-yard box like that. What a tempo this game's been played at.
Redknapp. Collymore had come in from the left, taking Watson with him, allowing the space for Jones. And Steve Watson helped out by Rob Lee. Ferdinand. That's great play, and the control and the pass for Ginola. He's run beyond McAteer. 2-1 to Newcastle. David Ginola.
Well, I think we all thought he wasn't being caught. The only question he had to answer was, could he finish a blistering break out of defence to attack? McAteer's ahead. I said that might be an area they tried to get the ball in. They've got it into him. We wondered, could he finish? My goodness, he didn't have finish. Great vision from Les Ferdinand. And this is no easy finish, but he keeps his cool. That's a wonderful slot from the Frenchman. What an absolute brilliant start we've had to the game.
Well, a superb season coming to a great crescendo as we approach the climax. And two teams with strong title ambitions producing here a top quality opening quarter of an hour. We haven't even had that yet. We've had 3 goals. First for Liverpool, and a championship quality response from Newcastle United. First Ferdinand scored the equaliser, and then his great play sent Ginola through to put Newcastle into the lead.
And by the opening 15 minutes, you had twice as many attempts at goal as Liverpool. How's that for hitting the target? 100%.
Well, Newcastle might have been fearing the worst when Robbie Fowler got his head to that tremendous Collymore cross. Now it's Liverpool who are on the back foot. And a reward for the approach. Kevin Keegan talking about the time that Newcastle have had to spend on the training ground. The goals have been beautifully worked, but the general level of team play and the aggression to go and get the ball from one of the best passing sides around, and well, that wasn't really a forced error, but there are errors, far too many for Roy Evans and Ronnie Moran. Most of them forced by this pressing that Newcastle are putting into place so well. Barnes. Redknapp. Here's Mark Wright. Redknapp preferred again to Michael Thomas, as he was in the semi-final. Ruddock. There's a bit of entrenchment going on by Newcastle at the moment, just making sure nothing slips straight away.
Well, what they're doing is when they can't put the pressure on, Mark, they're just dropping back, like I suggested they might, got 2 banks of 4 and making it difficult. They're a little unlucky there. David Batty went committed to winning it and didn't.
It's Redknapp shot!
I thought that was it. Well, he went to win it, David Batty. But bypassed him. Well, he doesn't have to pull the trigger here, Jamie Redknapp. They just back off. It's a long, long way out. And he's very, very close to bringing Liverpool back on level terms.
Barnes. Here's McManaman. Just to try and tease it in behind Beardsley, who's been asked once more to work the right-hand side without being a slave to the touchline. It's this area of the Newcastle team that has provoked most comment. With Keith Gillespie a substitute again tonight. And Kevin Keegan trying to accommodate all his cast of experienced players from around the world. Gillespie, of course, an international in his own right with Northern Ireland. McAteer, who didn't face Ginola in the 2 matches in the autumn between these 2 clubs. Rob Jones was on that side then.
What's happening at times on the left is when Jason McAteer wants to go forward, and David Ginola's just letting him go, he run on to John Beresford. And because the 3 centre-backs are so concerned with the 2 strikers, Ferdinand and Asprilla, Ginola is finding himself with an awful lot of space.
Well, there is a free kick in favour of McAteer, but he's having a difficult start to the game. So much has gone right for him since he came here from Bolton. When Kevin Keegan was asked about changing the formation of the team, he was very adamant that apart from the individual swap at right back, that he wasn't going to compromise. Goal kick.
Well, if anyone wanted a little example of the determination in this Newcastle side tonight, only had to look at when Stan Collymore picked up the ball. He was absolutely surrounded with black and white shirts, one of them being the Newcastle centre-forward, who just shepherded the ball out for a goal kick. They're up for it.
And for all the credit to Kevin Keegan for the development of Newcastle United, they were in some disarray as a club when he took over as manager over 4 years ago now. He is not a man who has ever been satisfied with coming second. He wants the title, and he wants it with a burning desire. And his players are matching the manager's ambition to this point. But Liverpool may well yet have another say here tonight. They've got to, otherwise well, they could finish this game realistically out of the race.
I think if they lose it, they are out of it. And I think they know that.
Ferdinand. And Newcastle have got the goals from a fast start tonight that they didn't get against Manchester United at St James's Park. But McManaman. Well, Albert looked at the ball, he didn't pay any attention to McManaman trying the trick, dropping the shoulder.
Yeah, he won a big tackle, edge of the box. He had to take the ball, he did so.
Redknapp. James coming in a few yards. And Beardsley was late, and it's a booking for Peter Beardsley. Free kick taken not to the referee's liking by Redknapp. The name hadn't been recorded. Tackle from behind. And even if you're Peter Beardsley, you get booked for it. Redknapp will supervise the free kick. Oh, it's come for Fowler! Might have just seen a little gap low to Sonicek's right. If he did see it, he couldn't quite find it.
I think he saw it, but again, the disarray here as anything comes across. They're really a little bit at sea with their marking again. It was a little unfortunate, Robbie, that got stuck under his feet.
That's a mistake by Batty. Sorry. And Redknapp hit the shot so quickly, we had to come back to the action. Liverpool have a corner. Halfway through the first half. Redknapp will take the corner. Put back in his direction and beyond by Lee. Redknapp again. Beardsley. Went for Newcastle, off Ruddock for Aspria. Hales having to move into the sprint. Barnes. McManaman. Now Jones. Collymore. Wanting to get closer.
Great tackle. Absolutely spot on. It looked as if it was a free kick because 2 or 3 bodies went there. But I tell you what, he didn't half win that well, Steve Watson.
Beresford. And McAteer finds Ginola elusive again. It's Fowler there to try and help him out. Still Ginola. He's chasing back, whether he's also just chasing towards the referee as well. As we've pointed out before, sometimes his reputation goes against him. This is Beardsley. Liverpool gave it away close to the edge of their own penalty area again. Talk about an important match. It's an inspiring match as well. And Newcastle United have a corner. Well, that's brilliantly taken by David James. The ball really at a high point.
Yeah, you'd expect him to come edge of 6-yard box. Come for them all day, David James.
Redknapp.
This has really sizzled this game.
Barnes. McManaman to the left this time. Jones. Ruddock. Barnes. Oh, and whether Barnes was expecting Redknapp to do something else, he certainly wasn't running for the return in that area. He's got it back again. McManaman had a look to see where Jones was before the ball arrived, just as well he did, because it was Jones who kept it in play in the end. Trying to take it on behind Watson. It's a corner. Taken quickly. Newcastle not really solid at the back. Ruddock bounced up too high for him. Reclaiming done by McManaman. That's well played. And he's paid a price for it, Steve McManaman. He outskilled David Batty then. Batty didn't pull out. That's the consequence. Just a dainty little touch.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's a body check more than anything.
Yes, I meant the dainty touch was on the ball, not on McManaman.
He'll have no arguments with that, Batty. He's got to be, sorry Matt, he's got to be careful now. The way that they've played this opening 26 minutes, Newcastle, they're going to put pressure on the ball. They're going to commit themselves to tackles. None more so than David Batty, and he's just got to be careful he doesn't miss time another one.
McManaman momentarily, Liverpool will hope, off the pitch. Redknapp swings in the free kick. Beresford's header goes straight to Fowler, and that could have been a very costly mistake.
Well, what did that remind you of? Steve Staunton going up, nodding it back post. Fowler dropping off, ball onto his chest.
The semi-final with 5 minutes to go.
Correct. On that time, he buried it. A far corner, but what good pressing from Philippe Albert, I think it was.
Another Liverpool corner. Ruddock. McManaman is back on. Launched forward by Batty. McManaman. This is the area in which Newcastle are making Liverpool look uncertain. Players who like to have time on the ball and be tidy in their approach play and passing. Not been given that time. Right. Coming forward with some authority though. Fowler pulling Howie with it. Collymore in the centre. This is Barnes. Newcastle regrouping. Jones can help it on for McManaman. Barnes. Throw something off Fowler. Kick, it wasn't forthcoming. Ginola robbed by Ruddock. And then getting it back from Lee. Aspria's offside.
Just good defending, Scales and Wright. Got it, worked it very well, good communication. Ginola coming through, look at Mark Wright, gives his scroll, Scales stands his ground, Wright steps out, it's good defending.
Ruddock, going for ball as it was high off the ground, the foot raised. Aspria. Well, Jones was always coming second in that particular chase, and in fact he's been penalised. Newcastle have the free kick. Might have been an advantage stop then by that blast on the whistle. Newcastle trying to put the free kick to some use and press Liverpool in again. It's Redknapp.
That's well played, Martin, again. That's super play, it really is. The question that you ask yourself is, can they do it for 90 minutes? It's asking a tremendous amount of your players physically to do what they're doing, particularly the midfield area. And I'm sure at 2-1 up, they'll just continue to do it. They'll run in fresh air if they need to.
Well, what they do have, surely the fresher legs. Now, whether that will sustain the policy, as you say, through the 90 minutes. Aston Villa gave Liverpool such a hard game on Sunday.
Yeah.
Certainly Liverpool were flattered by the 3-0 margin in the end. McManaman. Redknapp. Barnes. Redknapp. Trying to hit it with the outside of the right foot and give it a real sense of swerve.
Well, it gives us a little opportunity to have another look at that wonderful pass from Les Ferdinand outside of the foot. There's McAteer ahead of Ginola, as he has been occasionally tonight. But from then on, it was all about the quality of Ginola on his left side.
Aspria, who still has charges to answer, of course, with the FA about use of arms against Manchester City.
I think he's a little unlucky. If you look at John Scales and him, I think it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I think he's a little bit unlucky to be penalised there.
Beardsley defending the right-hand side. That's some kick from Cernicek. Scales. That's a thoughtful header from McManaman. Collymore. Now they're trying to get free in the centre, and Newcastle defending really with numbers as much as anything. Rodley. Ferdinand there first against Wright. Beresford. Ginola to confront McAteer. He's got past him rather easily from the Liverpool point of view. Another Premiership game tonight at Elland Road involving Southampton in the relegation positions, but it's 0-0 there at half-time. It wasn't 0-0 for long here at Anfield. Robbie Fowler sorted that, but since then it's gone blacker for Liverpool and rosier for the team in black and white. Aspria. Beardsley given licence to work in from the right-hand side. And his natural game takes him in there. McManaman, whose natural game takes him all over the place. But when you perform under the sort of pressure that Newcastle are applying, sorry to keep labouring that point, but they're certainly making Liverpool labour in midfield. It's a key factor in the way the game has developed to this point. Here's a bit of wrestling between two strong men. Neil Ruddock and Les Ferdinand, free kick to Liverpool. Barnes. McManaman setting off. Now he covers. Barnes. Collymore. It's a bright idea. Back towards Fowler.
But they've looked better. They've looked better organised, the back four. You look at that picture there, they're not bad at all. Apart from that opening cross from Collymore with a little slack. The back four have worked well together so far.
Ginola. Aspria took it away from right. Scales header only back to Aspria again. Now can he find Ferdinand? Well, it's deflected away. Ferdinand was on his toes, as he has been right from the first whistle.
It's a very good run from Les Ferdinand. He just shifts this and whips it. Takes a flick there, I think it's marked right at the near post, but Ferdinand's run had taken him in advance of his markers. It was a really good run.
Towie.
Well, Kevin Keegan said he wouldn't change his philosophy, his policy. I think that says it all.
Well, like all policies, if it's a winning one, it's a wonderful one.
Yeah.
As I said at the start, Kevin's not been short of advice from all quarters about how Newcastle should play, who should play. The 11 that are playing at this moment are doing the club proud. Still 10 minutes left of the first half. McManaman. Corner.
Must have just taken the flick off David Batty. Certainly looked to hit it clean enough, but Batty again's the one pressing it. Just takes a little nick off him. Good spot from Mike Reid.
And from Andy Gray. Redknapp. McManaman. Well, they're disputing with each other, Newcastle, as to who should lead the break on the left. Beresford got to it, allowing Aspria to go even further forward. He is in the mood.
Just a little early to start a showboat.
Newcastle are in the lead. And also, they've had to come from behind.
I think that's got to be a free kick. It was certainly wonderful ability. I have some sympathy with him at times, man, I really do. Because he's got great ability and sometimes he can embarrass people. You should watch where he drags it back, he's away, there's the leg come out there, there's all sorts of tangles. It's not a deliberate foul, but he's certainly John Barnes impedes him.
Not quite deep enough from the Liverpool point of view, from McAteer from the right. Otherwise it would have dropped for Collymore, unmarked. Ruddock. Well, faint hearts never won football championships. And Newcastle are coming here to the home of Liverpool, where they know a thing or two about winning titles. And Kevin Keegan well aware more than most of that.
Look at Les Ferdinand now,
He's
he's
like
just playing the ball.
Bravehearts here.
He's right back at the moment.
Lee. Batty. Beresford picks out Aspria, who wanted another magical touch for Ferdinand then, and it failed him. McManaman flags up against Rob Jones.
That must have been tight.
Remember, Newcastle starting tonight 3 points behind Manchester United and with an inferior goal difference.
But if they win 4-1, wouldn't they go top?
They would. And they're playing as though that's their main ambition. Batty, championship winner, of course, with Leeds. He got a medal for that, and with Blackburn he refused to accept one with them because he didn't feel he played enough games. Only came back into the side right at the end of the season. Of course, took part here, and Blackburn were crowned at Anfield last May. Unforgettable, as tonight has been. Even when Liverpool haven't been winning the title, they seem to have been involved in it one way or t'other. Ferdinand.
He's unlucky there, Jason McAdeer. He just hooked the ball back into Les Ferdinand's chest. Referee couldn't really see it.
Batty. Deserved a better touch, really, from Aspria. McManaman. That's Jones. Redknapp trying to get the second ball, but doing it with too much figure. Newcastle will have to defend the top end of the ground in the second half. But it's the tsunami you can hear at the moment. They're trying to charge down the kick taken by Sonicek. Beardsley. Good ball from Roddick. McManaman, who let the pace on the ball help him. Watson. Steve Watson stops the corner. Liverpool, who began the half so spectacularly, the corner from which to try and end it on the same note. And at least restore parity at half-time. Barnes. Roddick. Aspria against Scales. Aspria on the sprint. Scales trying to stay with him. And Aspria couldn't stay with the ball.
I just lost it at the most important time. The run was a good, powerful one. Just when he needed control of the football, well, it just deserted him a little.
And that's Barnes has given it to Aspria. Wright is there to help. Barnes came back. Aspria fell to the ground and conducts a personal campaign for a penalty without his teammates really taking up the same line. They were concentrating properly and professionally on getting the ball back, which they did for a moment. Now it's McManaman. Fowler. Collymore. McAteer on the move outside him. Fowler goes near post. McManaman round the back. Fowler! Now Barnes for Redknapp. Barnes goes down. Newcastle aren't happy, but they might have been much unhappier than that, because Robbie Fowler, with a bit more growth on the eyebrows, I think got another header.
I think it took him by surprise, Mark. I fully expected Steve McManaman just to go for goal. He's got a free header, he's about 6 yards out. I just think he took his mate by surprise.
Newcastle put a defender on the line, Steve Howitt. He's switched positions again. Redknapp! But you could see where he was aiming.
Well, he tries to nick it in that corner they did against Blackburn last game of the season last year. Wasn't quite there. But this is a chance that, well, I say Fowler had, but really I think McManaman's got the chance here. Well, maybe he did look for his mate after all, but I think he took Robbie Fowler a little by surprise.
Collymore, Watson's gone down. Collymore's gone on. And it took 3 in the end to stop him. Asprilla riding the challenge from Scales. The ball from Ginola for Beardsley. Out comes James.
Great goalkeeping. He must have had a great starting position, David James.
Stoppage time.
I hope his watch is stopped. I'd hate to see this come in this first half. It's been absolutely blistering.
What a half. Well, Ginola has given Newcastle an interval lead. All this after Robbie Fowler had got the game off on a terrific note with an early goal for Liverpool. Les Ferdinand scored the equaliser and set up Ginola. Half-time, Liverpool 1 and Newcastle 2. Liverpool attacking the Kop end in the second half, 2-1 down.
They've just put Steve Harkness left of the three. Neil Ruddock, as we can see there in the middle, Martin. They've pulled John Scales to the right side.
McAteer. Not going with him, but Beresford made the interception. A foul by McAteer.
Ginola's been so clever, Martin. He's given Roy Evans a problem on this left side. McAteer, he's not sure Jason McAteer whether to go forward, because he knows that Ginola's not going to track him. And when he does go forward and they lose the ball, well, they've just been able to pop it into Ginola. But I just wonder if John Scales will just adopt a little bit wider when McAteer goes forward and tackle Ginola. But then that leaves you 2 against 2, Ferdinand and Asprilla against Ruddock and Harkness. So problems all over when that happens.
Here's Rob Lee. He can go all the way here. Well, James stops it. Really would have given Kevin Keegan's team some breathing space. Lee, who hasn't got a goal since before Christmas,
Won't get a better chance. That was a glorious opportunity to give his side a huge breathing space.
Redknapp.
Well, not only is Robert Lee frustrated, Martin, but I tell you, so is Faustina Asprilla. Because watch what happens when Lee does everything right, but then hits the goalkeeper. Great save, he falls on the ball. Look at Asprilla. He's coming in, hoping to tap it in. The ball hits Lee and goes back into the arms of the goalkeeper. It's a great save from James. But just as Asprilla's coming in to knock it in, Robert Lee stops it going to him.
Fowler. Albert has definitely been a player in the back line tonight.
Well, I said at the beginning I didn't think we'd see many sorties forward. We haven't seen one yet. I don't expect to see any in the second half, while the scoreline stays 2-1.
McManaman. Here's Batty. Lee. His movement lost Redknapp. Aspria against Harkness. Aspria's cross, too long for Ferdinand, too long for Lee. It's hardly been a cautious start to the second half from Newcastle. They're just playing to the nature of the players that Kevin Keegan has put together at some expense. But it will seem cheap if the major piece of domestic silverware is Newcastle's at the end of it all. Collymore, McManaman, Fowler herring into the middle. Oh, Sonicek had to put up his arms by the post there. Not quite sure what was in McManaman's mind, but it might have been going in.
Yeah, well, he was just lacking mates in the box. There's only really Robbie Fowler breaking his neck to get in here. He has a quick look, he sees no one there. He swings this across. I'm sure he's not thinking of scoring from there. But he didn't have many options.
This is McManaman. Oh, Sonicek's lost it, and fortunately didn't bounce far enough away from him.
Lovely strike from McManaman. One touch, hits it on the half volley, keeps it very low. Goalkeeper does enough. The one thing he has to make sure is he's not beaten. So he covers everything, just cushions it and grabs it at the second attempt.
Foul by Ferdinand, climbing a bit on Harkness.
Well, it looks like it's more of the same for the second half.
Three goals coming inside the first 15 minutes after Liverpool have taken the lead. Robbie Fowler's 34th of the season. That puts him level in all competitions with Alan Shearer. And that's when Beardsley has to keep the shape. And the opposition had the ball. Aspria's touch on to Ferdinand.
Well, it's a pity. Had it gone straight back to Aspria, then he certainly would have been in.
Fowler. Now McManaman. Barnes intercepts for Liverpool. Ferdinand dispossesses the Liverpool captain. But it roars across. Newcastle trying to hold a defensive line. That can be unhinged by great skill on the ball, which McManaman has. Collymore, is it going to be a crack? He loves to hit them from here.
Well, that's certainly not his best. It opened up for him, and it opened up because McAteer went wide and just attracted Beresford. John Beresford would normally have gone and closed down Stan Collymore here, but McAteer comes up on the left. He knows that, so he just puts on the brakes a bit. It's not a great strike from Stan.
Let's get some news from Nick Collins.
Well, Martin, just to confirm that Mark Wright got a knock on his knee, that's why he's gone off. The other thing is, it might be one of the biggest games of the season, but Kevin Keegan still found time coming out of the tunnel at the start of the second half to sign a young Liverpool fan's plaster cast on his leg. A nice gesture.
Well, the man's always had class. And so has his team. But so too have Liverpool, although we've seen less of it tonight. And Fowler jumping with an arm up. Shake of the head from Albert.
Yeah, they're certainly catching him, but he's only using his arms for leverage on Robbie Fowler. Certainly nothing sinister in the jump.
Ferdinand. Redknapp. And again, the crowd warning Barnes this time. Scholes was a bit lucky. Harkness played well. I think a lot of him here, Steve Harkness. He's forced his way really into the first-team reckoning on a regular basis this season. Although he, like Ruddock from time to time, has lost his place through suspension. Fowler's cross. Well, it was a mishit clearance by Watson, drilled back by Redknapp. Ruddock committed forward, so Barnes has got to help a little deeper alongside Scales and Harkness. Rob Jones. McManaman. Barnes. Fowler.
Great
He got past one, but not the second, who was Albert.
Great take from Fowler. Good defending from Philippe Albert.
It's a Liverpool corner. It's a free header for Scales. Oh, and Fowler.
He's got a brilliant position. I love that position. Strikers to take right in front of the goalkeeper. He gets a free header, John Scales. He's just looking to glance at any touch at all. It's sent. He probably ducks and it goes in because Cernicek's totally unsighted. But this is awful marking. Any problems I've had tonight with Newcastle has been balls played across. Absolutely free header. Any touch at all, apart from a heavy one, a thick one, and it's a goal.
That's Fowler's pass for Collymore. That's some great defending there by Watson.
Offside, I think he is, Martin. Flags up down
He didn't
below.
know that, Steve Watson.
No, he didn't. This is a big moment in the game, you feel, for Newcastle. A little bit of pressure, sustained pressure for about the first time in the match. It's just how they cope with this. Can they see it out and come back again themselves?
Liverpool, in their desire, might just lose a bit of discipline as well. Ginola. He's still going. Oh, and it's looped up off Scales. Sometimes they can be a real embarrassment for goalkeepers. That wasn't one of those occasions. McAteer, McManaman. We'll see how Newcastle can defend here. Fowler! Brilliant Liverpool goal by a brilliant young talent. His second, Liverpool's second. Newcastle ripped apart. 9 minutes into the second half.
And he's responsible. Look at that goalkeeper's quick reactions. 2 passes. Watch this, Martin. Great run. That's a brilliant ball from McAteer. McManaman drives at him, looks up, and who arrives? Well, need I say any more? Who do you expect to arrive? Right on cue, but Robbie Fowler. I said it was a big part of the game. And Newcastle, well, they were carved apart in about 5 seconds.
From one goalkeeper put past the other goalkeeper. It's deafening at Anfield, even by the standards set here on Merseyside. And it's Redknapp to Collymore. It's still Collymore. And it's play on, says Mike Reed.
Clearly, what a game. Well. Sorry, I'm just clearing my head. I don't know everybody else must be. This is magnificent stuff.
Headed down from Harkness. Redknapp. Here's Steve McManaman. Out comes Cernicek. Good header.
Good goalkeeping, man. They got it wrong. Albert dropped off on the wrong side. There's no way he could get across.
That's terrific play from Beardsley. Newcastle respond the only way they know how. With brilliant attacking play of their own. Asprilla. Rob Lee curled it through for him. Newcastle lead again. And this extraordinary match has yet another twist to it.
Well, the reason he's not offside, watch John Scales. He might just be out of shot. There he is. Number 12 coming across. He cannot possibly be deeper when he's on that side of the pitch. The 2 centre-backs are up. You see the hands go up. They think they're offside. But what a finish from Asprilla. He's still got a lot to do, but outside of the right foot, spins it round David James and into the net. What a game.
It's the Newcastle philosophy. If they score 2, we'll score 3. If they score 3, we'll get 4. Well, even by the standards of the Premiership, which offers week in, week out such a thrilling product, this is extra in its entertainment. And they're coming from all over the world to watch it. It's being televised around the globe, and the players are coming from all over the world to participate in it and influence it. And now, the senior side, Batty, who has been booked, and McAteer.
Well, I'll tell you what, if Mike Reid decides that was a strikeout from David Batty, he's off. It's quite as simple as that. You can't lift your arms in this league at the moment without risking getting a yellow card. Now, if he gets a yellow card, then quite simply David Batty's off. It just depends on his interpretation of that. You might just think it's much ado about nothing. This game has been, well, it's at boiling point, and it's understandable. So it might just be a quick talking to, cut it out, boys, let's get on with it and don't spoil this wonderful match. And that's exactly what he's done.
Well, Jason McAteer, he wears his Liverpool heart on his sleeve. David Batty's a harder character to fathom, really. He says he's not too interested in the game when he's not earning his living playing it. But my goodness, he plays it, for the most part, very effectively indeed. There are times when he does too much and oversteps the disciplinary lines, and he needed some sympathetic handling then to stay in the game, and he got it from Mike Reid, as did McAteer, who certainly wasn't an innocent party in it. We were saying at half-time, Andy, how well Batty had played.
I think he's had a magnificent match so far.
Scales. The Liverpool joy was unconfined, but it wasn't to last. After a truly thrilling riposte from Fowler to take him to the top scorer with a Premiership club this season, 35 now, outstripping Shearer. But here's McManaman, found by McAteer. Fowler looking for the hat-trick. Sonichek making sure the ball didn't bounce off him this time. It was Rob Jones who might have cashed in on any fumble.
He's looking for him. He just backs off again at the edge of the area, Robbie Fowler. He does that an awful lot, and he gets great joy from it. That was a more difficult one. The ball coming across him like that, and then hitting it with his left foot.
An hour has gone by in the twinkling of an eye.
But what a twinkling.
McAteer. We've had a goal from a Frenchman, a goal from a Colombian, and contributions from two players trying to be there with England in Euro '96. This was Ferdinand and Fowler. Beresford. Lee. Here's Ferdinand. It's Lee. Now Jones. Collymore. With some driving ambition for Liverpool.
Great tackle. What a tackle, Steve Watson. That's an awesome sight, Stan Collymore flying at you.
Especially after Watson had to cope with the fact that he came off second best in the move that led to Liverpool's first goal, which was really Watson's first test, having been preferred to Warren Barton tonight.
It just gives you the chance, Mark, to show what I was talking about from, well, we can see John Scales here is the one to watch. Now look, he drops in. The other two are up. They're looking for offside. Now, there's nothing you can do if you're defending from that side of the pitch and you're deeper. If John Scales had stayed up on line with his other two centre-backs, there's no doubt Asprilla would have been offside.
And David James rather made up Asprilla's mind for him. That's Fowler to McManaman. Well, there wasn't the punch at the end of more progressive play.
Well, we're getting spoiled. I was going to say the move deserved a better finish than that, but I suppose occasionally we're going to see a shot choked into the ground. And that's all it was. It's on target. No surprise with that.
Well, one voice, but it really represents the whole of Tyneside. Come on, Newcastle. Beresford. Asprilla. Ginola. Liverpool aren't accustomed to being put to the sword, as Newcastle are doing that. Newcastle with 3 goals. Liverpool haven't conceded 3 before this season. 3 from 9 attempts, 6 on target from Newcastle. Rob Jones. And Fowler slipped. Newcastle were grateful for that. Don't let anyone tell you that Liverpool are being distracted because they've got to an FA Cup final. 35,000 or so here, pleading with Liverpool to turn this round. When they have scored in this game, they haven't really been able to build on that with some concerted football before any troubles around their own goal. Newcastle hit back very quickly from Fowler's first and instantly from Fowler's second. McManaman. McAteer. Scales, such a good angle for a ball into the box. That's why Scales goes wide for the better angle from McAteer. Deflected beyond Jones, who had come in, trying to make the extra man on the far side for Liverpool. That's great play by Asprilla under extreme pressure for Ginola. For Ferdinand, well, if he'd played that right, that could have been 4.
But it all starts with Asprilla's ability to cope with people right at his backside and shoving him and niggling him, but to keep control of the football and be aware of other people's positioning.
He's got iron strength and such an elastic body. But this is Beresford, who's the one Newcastle player who hasn't scored in the Premiership of the regulars.
They certainly showed some great adventure for about the first time in the match, really. Up that far, up that high up the pitch.
McManaman. McAteer, slight of foot against Lee. Now McManaman. It's a driven cross. And Collymore. Jones will keep it alive for Liverpool. Now his header. He's really one of their own. Steve Watson, Geordie through and through. He stood his ground. Ferdinand. Lee, who hasn't been in the best of form in recent Newcastle games, has contributed tonight. McAteer. That's a wicked ball. Liverpool's quality is there again, and Newcastle's prayers might not yet have been answered here at Anfield.
Well, Stan Collymore put in a ball of real quality first half, but I think this is better. This is a horrible ball for goalkeeper and defender. You can see Steve Howie's problem, I think it was Howie, is that if he gets a solid touch, it's an own goal. So he doesn't get any touch. Well, and Collymore's just prowling on the back post. But he owes an awful lot to Jason McAteer's cross, without a shadow of a doubt.
What more needed to touch it, Stan Collymore? The contact meant 3-3.
Now,
was that good across?
Can they go 10 minutes without letting Newcastle score, Martin? They haven't been able to any time they scored in the match. What a football match we've had tonight.
And Kevin Keegan's philosophy really being put to the test. To win the title by simply outpowering, outscoring the opposition, home or away. McManaman, who's in danger of taking it behind. The Kop end of the ground, in unison, bellowing its complaint to the linesman, who didn't flag.
He should have crossed it, I thought, Mark. He should have crossed it. He had a great opportunity to do so. Now, any time now, go on, pick somebody out. Play it, play it, play it. I mean, there's certainly good cause. I think he might have got a bit of the ball unwillingly, John Beresford, but he did launch into the tackle right on the dead ball line.
Well, Liverpool were 1-0 up. We're 2-1 down at half-time. We're 3-2 down. Now it's 3-3, and goodness knows where we go from here. But it's going to be fantastic finding out. Ginola is down for a moment. Liverpool refused to be knocked down and out of the championship chase. Redknapp. Albert has to play it. Couldn't risk knocking it back to the goalkeeper with Fowler around, and maybe an awkward bounce. McManaman. Ferdinand having to come deep to help out. Beardsley to Aspria. He's not worried about the defenders around him. He's lost Ruddock, but Jones was there to give some comfort to the central defender.
I mean, which way does this game fall? Liverpool are going to be pressed forward, roared on by this huge crowd tonight, and they all know in the back of their mind that Ferdinand and Aspria can spring them at any moment.
McAteer. Well, the linesman was flagging. Jason McAteer, who had some torrid times in the first half, is showing Newcastle what he's made of in the second half.
Well, again, he's getting some joy here. McManaman, and I think they've been quite clever second half. He's patrolled the majority of this right side, almost as if Liverpool are saying, well, OK, we'll try and get 2 against 1 against John Beresford. And he's having a torrid time at times, John Beresford, coping with McManaman in that sort of inside right position, and McAteer outside right. Here it is again, this sort of area, Martin, where he's really committing Beresford, and they're getting 2 against 1. Fortunately for them, well, unfortunately, Les Ferdinand having to track all the way back.
Well, the free kick Liverpool wanted to take quickly, but Mike Reid has shown the yellow card, I think, to Ferdinand.
It was, yeah.
Well, both sides in turn search for a potential winning goal as we search for the superlatives to keep pace with a magnificent football match. It doesn't really ever get much better than this. Batting. So daunting for those with defensive responsibilities. Beardsley. The attacks coming from every quarter from both teams. McAteer. Ginola. Oh, he's got a free kick.
And the Toon Army respond with applause.
McAteer and Ginola with something that's not really from the realms of the Entente Cordiale. John Beresford takes the free kick. John Scales heads it away. Batty. Redknapp. Lee. It's run for him. It wasn't just luck, although Terry McDermott was calling for a touch of lady luck for Newcastle. He feels that maybe they've been deserted in that respect recently. Neil Ruddock walloped it out of play. There's the McDermott nails being bitten. Barnes was the player hurt. That's why Ruddock was so keen to get it out of play. Roy Evans and Kevin Keegan were on a couple of occasions Liverpool teammates. Roy, of course, primarily a reserve as a player here before he went very tender age into coaching. Kevin Keegan was the superstar at that time.
Yeah, just gets tangled up with Rob Jones here. Just jars his knee.
Be much time at this stage to dwell on the extent of John Barnes' injury. Time is ticking away for Liverpool. For all that they put into the game, Ian Rush was the other outfield player available. Not a bad alternative. The player who actually scored the only goal that Liverpool managed. Barnes is back. Rush got the goal that Liverpool managed in the league game up St James's Park, which Newcastle won 2-1. A late decider then from Steve Watson. It could happen again tonight. But it's Liverpool, as we've been stressing throughout the evening, with the prime need for victory, although it would have wonderful consequences, you feel, for Newcastle if they could come away from Anfield with 3 points. McManaman. Oh, goodness.
Well, that's what I mean about the horrible cross to deal with.
Goal of the season, not quite.
It's very similar to the cross he had to deal with when Collymore scored. He couldn't deal with that one, he had to let it go, but he knew he couldn't let this one go. I thought he dealt with it brilliantly under the circumstances. Steve Howe. Horrible, bouncing in front of him, but he managed to get it wide. Doesn't matter how close it was wide.
That's Ruddock. Harry on hand again. Aspria. Oh, and Albert's on the move. First time, really. Out comes David James, not settling for kicking it out of play. He wants to send Robbie Fowler away. And keeping with the attitude that's been throughout the game. And from the goalkeeper's ambition, Liverpool have another corner. Newcastle with this vulnerability in the air, given the number of goals they conceded to headers throughout the season. Redknapp really in the right area to find the Liverpool head. That was a Colombian conjuring trick against the touchline, but
I lost that, I blinked, I tell you.
Now you see it, now you don't. McAteer. McManaman. Here's John Scales towards the feet of Collymore, but McManaman took over. It was a bit fortunate, but he's gone on. Out comes Sanijek. It spun away towards McAteer, and when you need somebody to be cool, calm and deliver the ball back to be collected, Peter Beardsley's your man.
Well, you'd have thought Sanijek would have taken a couple of seconds to let his troops get settled, to get ready. But such is this game, everyone's just caught up in it. He's catching the ball, throwing it forward. Liverpool throwing everything forward. This is fantastic stuff.
Albert's ball. Here's Ferdinand. One-on-one with Harkness. Les Ferdinand is in for Newcastle. And David James had to prevent his side going behind again. He had to present a huge barrier to Ferdinand. He was the last line of defence, and he saved Liverpool.
Great goalkeeping from David James. Great play from Ferdinand, 1 against 1, relishes that.
McManaman. Beardsley. Oh, the flag is up. The linesman, Mick Carrington on the far side. Ferdinand through the middle. Ginola also well forward. Maybe he was the player that attracted the linesman's intervention.
They've worked the ball so well on this right side all second half. John Beresford really hasn't had a minute to draw breath.
Redknapp. Barnes. Cernicek reacted as well there as James did a moment or two ago at the other end. McAteer sticks out a knee and just wanted to chase back. Wanted to get some air into his lungs as well. Great break by Barnes. Great tackle by Beresford.
Yeah, that was John Barnes, wasn't it? Vintage Barnes, where he drags it past the Robert Lee, and it's a great, powerful shot. Super save from Cernicek, but that only followed an even better one, I think, from David James. He was big, he was bold, he made it difficult for Ferdinand, and he got his reward.
We're into the last 10 minutes. McAteer, Fowler. McManaman on the right this time. There's space ahead of him for Collymore. Redknapp. Fowler can't reach it. Beardsley not just wanting to hack it forward, always conscious of the need to keep possession in these circumstances, and he picked out Ferdinand, who in turn used Watson. Fowler. Howie backpedaling, flicked off him. Well, maybe a defensive thought from Kevin Keegan. I think if you'd offered him a point when he came here tonight, he would have taken it. And Darren Peacock to come on. But it's a change looking as though it's forced upon Newcastle, because Steve Howie makes his way somewhat uneasily off, so it's only one central defender for another. It's not a case of trying to pack it at the back. Peacock comes on at the corner. And Ruddock challenged by the new arrival. Harkness prefers his left foot, as you saw. So too, of course, does Barnes. It's too long for McManaman.
You called that a bit quick, you. I thought he may have caught that.
We're into the dry grounds now. A strained hamstring for Steve Howie, we hear. That's bad news given the congested programme that's coming up over the Easter period. And with the nights drawing shorter, but unless Liverpool can find a winning goal, the odds will be going longer for them in the Championship betting. Collymore. Well, with some players, you wouldn't expect too much from that angle. But with Stan Collymore,
I think he's looking for a corner here. When the angle gets narrower and narrower, I don't think it was a corner. He's going to have tremendous trouble scoring from here.
which is the best game we've ever commentated on. I think we've got a new candidate.
No, this is up there with the very best.
And you've got to pick man of the match. I would say just give the champagne to the lot of them.
We haven't got 22 bottles on site, I'm afraid.
22 sips. With the substitutes, a few more than that. And might have to be certainly a treatment for injury to Neil Ruddock.
I was just thinking, Martin, I remember Kevin Keegan saying a couple of weeks ago when we interviewed him that he felt that any one of the top 3 teams would make worthy champions. Well, we know all about the quality of Manchester United. I think what we're seeing tonight is that he was absolutely right. Like any of the 3 teams up there would be worthy champions. I think he's maybe trying to get through to David that sometimes, David, you have to defend. Give John a hand back there. There's a clash of heads here as well. I think there's a clash as the way he lands. Yeah, he lands on his right ankle. You can see he reaches for it immediately.
It's on that re-turfed area.
Yeah. He just landed on the back of Les Ferdinand's foot. Just twisted the ankle a little.
Ian Rush is waiting to come on, but I'm not sure it's for Neil Ruddock. He comes back. Well, with 5 minutes to go, and the goal-scoring legend on the bench, and Liverpool in need of a goal. Roy Evans must be tempted. Just get him on into that Newcastle penalty area. It's Ian Rush for Rob Jones. So Collingwood's moved left, Rush to play as you'd expect through the centre. And Liverpool, a club who have had so much success down the years in matches where they've produced late winners. Kind of trademark even as far back as the Bill Shankly days. And Kevin Keegan came here and achieved so much as a player, including winning the championship. And Rush never neglects the need to help the defending, and in doing so he's helped the attacking. McManaman, McAteer, they're lining up Liverpool in the centre. Oh, and he's put it too close to the goalkeeper. Cernicek again, not wasting any time. Beardsley. Now Liverpool have got to go and get it back. Lee. Redknapp trying to do that, but it breaks for Battle. Beresford. It's a free kick against Ruddock.
I think he's right. I think Mike Reeves right. It's on again. Asprilla just gets it in front. You can see that. That's a free kick in anyone's language.
Could this be a winning goal in Newcastle's language?
Well, it might be French or Colombian. Those two look the most likely, although Les Ferdinand is making his way across.
So it's Asprilla in the centre, doing the pointing, and touching it off for Ferdinand.
It's a corner. Well, it was a corner. I think that's the case when sometimes the referee's too close to the incident. Certainly looked from where I'm sitting as that took a deflection. Yeah, it certainly did. Mike Reeves probably just a bit close to it.
As it came between the two Liverpool players who were doing the charge, blocking the referee's view of it and the linesman. scales. Beardsley. Now Peacock. Nicely played. There were question marks about Newcastle's performance at Highbury. They've certainly shown the superior side of their game tonight, but they still wonder whether they might be caught at the last as Collymore advances, earns yet another Liverpool corner. David James thinking about coming up. He's got as far as the centre circle. But Ferdinand had to hook it over his shoulder. Manaman retrieves. Redknapp. Barnes. Ruddock. Jamie Redknapp beaten away by Srnicek. Harkness half got to it. Did better the second time. Fowler, Beresford is there bravely. Ginola showing strength. Free kick against Asprilla. Well, the volatility is still there, but we've seen why Kevin Keegan has brought this particular ingredient into the Newcastle cocktail. A championship-winning cocktail. We still don't know. McManaman. Well, so often Liverpool have danced to his tune, but in stoppage time, this wonderful, wonderful match is still locked level at 3-3. Albert. McAteer. Oh, he's retrieved it somehow. Srnicek hasn't caught it. Harkness, goalkeepers back at base. Watson.
How on earth did Jason McAteer get his foot round that?
True grit. Have you ever known 90 minutes go so quickly? Barnes, Andy hanging on for man of the match. Barnes, rush, Barnes. Still John Barnes, Collymore closing in! Liverpool lead in stoppage time! Kevin Keegan hangs his head, he's devastated.
What an incredible finish to an incredible night's football. Just how do you put words to what we've seen tonight? Stan Collymore, who's been shoved onto the left wing late in the game. We can hardly see him, he's not in the picture. John Barnes can. One touch, and what a rifle he's got in his left foot there. Just steadies himself beautifully and rifles it inside the near post.
Well, it was the old masters, Rush and Barnes, who set it up. And one of this season's signings, Stan Collymore, who has sent the Liverpool fans into a frenzy and Newcastle into disbelief. It's a match in which, well, it says so much about them. Their contribution has been immense. And they're losing. And it's Fowler. And it's Collymore. And Newcastle not adopting a holding operation when perhaps Roy Evans wanted them to keep the ball. Ferdinand heads it down. Ruddock pressed and fouled by Asprilla.
Just at the time I was about to say, Martin, no one can argue with this. A share of the spoils is just about what both teams deserve for their contribution tonight. Up pops Stan Collymore. to deliver. Well, only time will tell if this is a killer blow, a dagger to the heart, as they say.
It's certainly a winning goal for Liverpool. It's finished for them as it started, but we'll never forget what went on in between. First it was Fowler, then it was Newcastle with Ferdinand and Ginola. Then it was Fowler again at the start of the second half. An instant riposte from Asprilla. But Liverpool, well, you write them off at your peril. And Stan Collymore stepped in to the championship scene, who's been quiet in the last couple of games. But my goodness, he'll be part of the noise that's echoing from Merseyside tonight. It's Liverpool's night in the end. And a jarring blow to the ambitions of Newcastle. They played like champions, but they go off beaten. 2 points now between second and third. And the decline for the club by the Tyne continues in terms of results. 4 defeats in 6 games. It does spell out a real stumble with the winning post in sight. And they are shattered at that part of the ground. Elsewhere, they're in ecstasy, because all 3 are in contention as we approach the big test of the Easter programme. From August to April, it's been a thrilling campaign in the FA Carling Premiership, never more thrilling than tonight. And it might well be May before the crown is won. Andy?
Well, I'm just thinking there are no words I can find that would do justice to what we've seen tonight. I'm just absolutely honoured to have been sat here and watched a quite magnificent, and I mean that, quite magnificent game of football.